Eli Vance blinked as the bright light faded. He was supposed to be at the planet Neuraxia for a meeting with their government. Instead, he found himself standing in the middle of a small clearing surrounded by strange purple-leaf trees. The air smelled sweet like ripe fruit, and soft humming sounds came from the plants nearby. This was definitely not Neuraxia. He adjusted the strap of his messenger bag and looked around. The sky was a pale green with two suns hanging low. "Where am I?" he whispered. Suddenly, a small figure burst out from behind one of the trees. She had smooth, shiny blue skin, large bright eyes, and long hair braided with tiny silver beads. She wore a simple dress that looked like it was made from leaves and fabric. The girl ran up to Eli and stared at him eagerly. "Human," she said in a voice that was both excited and nervous. "You are here." Eli raised his hands carefully. "I think you might have the wrong person. I was sent here for a meeting, but this doesn't look like Neuraxia." The girl smiled widely. "You are perfect. Please come. My mother wants to meet you." Eli frowned. "Your mother?" "Yes. She is the High Matron. She is kind and strong. You must marry her." Eli blinked. "Marry her? Wait, I don't understand. I'm here on a diplomatic mission, not to get married." The girl's eyes grew even wider. "No, this is good. You will bring honor. Please come quickly." Eli wasn't sure what to do. The girl's excitement was contagious, but he didn't want to offend anyone by refusing. "All right," he said slowly. "Lead the way." She grabbed his hand and pulled him through the forest. As they walked, Eli noticed how different everything was. The trees were tall and thin, with soft leaves that whispered when the wind blew. Strange animals peeked from behind rocks, watching the visitors carefully. After a few minutes, they arrived at a village built on and around giant trees. Houses were made of shining metal and glowing crystals, connected by swinging bridges. People, of many shapes and sizes, moved around, some with wings, others with extra arms, all dressed in colorful clothes. The girl introduced herself as Yuli and explained, "This is my home, the planet Zilara. My mother is the leader here. She is waiting." Eli's stomach twisted. This was not just a misunderstanding. Somehow, he had been taken for a potential husband to the leader of a whole planet. Yuli led him into a large open building that looked like a throne room. At the far end sat a tall woman with 4 strong arms, dark blue skin, and bright silver eyes. Her hair was pulled back into a thick braid, and her armor gleamed in the light. She looked powerful and a little scary. Eli swallowed hard. This must be High Matron Siraxa. Siraxa stood and stepped forward as Eli approached. Her voice was calm but deep. "Welcome, human. I am Siraxa, High Matron of the Zilari. Yuli tells me you are here to join our family." Eli tried to smile. "I'm sorry if there was confusion. I was sent by Earth as a diplomat. I did not mean to offend. I'm not looking for marriage." Siraxa's eyes studied him closely. "Marriage is a serious bond for my people. It is not just between 2 individuals. It connects families, clans, even planets. Why would you refuse honor?" Eli shook his head. "I don't refuse honor. I only want to do my duty as a diplomat. Perhaps we can find another way to work together." Yuli stepped forward, her eyes shining. "But mother, he is perfect. He is kind and smart. He can bring peace between Earth and Zilara. Please give him a chance." Siraxa looked at Yuli with a soft smile. "Your daughter has faith. That is a good start. But Eli, you must understand. Our world is in danger. The Council of Zilara is divided. Some wish to fight humans, others wish to trust. A bond with you could change everything." Eli took a deep breath. "I want peace. I want to help." Siraxa nodded slowly. "Then you will stay here, at least, for a time. You will learn our ways, and we will see if your heart is true." Yuli clapped her hands happily. "Thank you. You will like it here." Eli looked around the room. The people watching seemed curious, but cautious. He knew this was only the beginning of a long and difficult journey. As the day turned to evening, Eli sat with Saraxa and Yuli to share stories of Earth and Zalara. He spoke of blue oceans, green forests, and cities full of light and life. They told him of their warrior traditions, their hopes and fears. For the first time since arriving, Eli felt something new, not fear, but hope. Maybe this strange mistake was the start of something important. Maybe, just maybe, he could be the link between two worlds. The next morning, Eli woke to soft light filtering through the crystal windows of the guest room. Outside, the sounds of the Zalari village were already busy with life. Strange bird-like creatures called softly from the treetops, and the gentle hum of machines mixed with the natural music of the forest. Yuli was already waiting outside his door, bouncing with excitement. "Come, today you meet my mother properly. High Matron Saraxa will show you her world." Eli smiled and stood quickly. Though he was nervous, he felt ready to learn more about this planet and the people who lived here. He followed Yuli down the twisting bridges that connected the tree homes. The air was fresh and smelled faintly of flowers and metal. As they walked, Yuli explained more about her mother. "Saraxa is the strongest warrior of the Zalari. She has fought many battles and never lost. But she is kind too, and she wants peace for her people. She thinks you can help." Eli nodded, trying to imagine what it would be like to be a leader in a place so different from Earth. "I hope I can live up to her trust," he said quietly. They reached a large platform built high in the trees. From there, Eli could see the entire village spread below, a sparkling mix of nature and technology. On the far side, a group of Zalari warriors practiced with long, shining swords. Their movements were quick and powerful, like a dance. Yuli pulled him forward. "Come, I want to introduce you." At the center of the platform stood Saraxa, dressed now in lighter armor that showed her forearms moving with graceful strength. Her silver eyes caught Eli's gaze, calm but sharp. "Eli," she said, her voice warm but serious. "Welcome to my home again. Today you will see what it means to be Zalari." Before Eli could answer, a young warrior stepped forward with a long curved sword. "Hi, Matron. May I challenge the Earth guest in the trial of strength? It is the way we test those who wish to join our family." Eli looked at Saraxa, surprised. "Is that necessary?" Saraxa shook her head slowly. "It is tradition. But I will not allow harm. Eli, if you agree, you must face the trial." Eli swallowed his fear. "I agree." Yuli gasped softly but smiled. "You are brave." The warrior handed Eli a wooden practice sword, lighter than the real ones. Eli stepped into the small circle marked on the platform. The warrior bowed and attacked. At first, Eli was clumsy, barely able to block the quick strikes. The warrior moved like water, flowing with speed and power. But Eli remembered his training. From Earth, calm breathing, watching for patterns. He caught the warrior's arm gently and sidestepped. The warrior laughed. "You have spirit, human. Not bad for a first try." After several rounds, the trial ended with smiles and nods. Eli felt proud. He had not won by strength, but by careful thinking and respect for the challenge. Saraxa nodded. "You have passed the first test. Strength is not only muscle but mind and heart." After the trial, Saraxa invited Eli to sit and share a meal. The food was strange and delicious. Bright orange fruits, spicy pastes, and a thick bread that melted in his mouth. Yuli explained, "This is part of the bonding. Eating together shows trust and friendship." As they ate, Saraxa spoke of her people's history. "We were once many clans fighting over land and power. My mother and father tried to unite us, but after his death the clans split again. Now I wish to bring peace. Humans can help if they understand us." Eli listened, carefully. "I believe peace starts when we talk, even if it is hard. That's why I am here." Saraxa looked at him with respect. "Your words are good, but peace must be shown in actions. The council will decide if you can stay and help." Yuli tugged at Eli's sleeve. "Mother will teach you our customs next. It will be fun." Over the next hours, Eli learned more strange customs. Yuli showed him the dance of light, a graceful movement meant to honor the spirits of the forest. Eli stumbled at first, but her laughter made him feel at ease. Later, Siraxa invited Eli to her training hall, where ancient weapons were displayed. "These are our history," she said, "but we do not live by war alone." She picked up a sword and handed it to Eli. "Try." Eli held the sword carefully. It was heavier than he expected, cool and smooth. He swung it slowly, imagining the strength needed to wield it. Siraxa smiled. Strength and kindness are both needed to be a true leader. That night, Eli lay under the stars thinking about the day. He was a stranger in a strange world, caught between two cultures, but he also felt something rare, a chance to build something new. Yuli's words echoed in his mind. "You will bring honor." Eli wasn't sure about marriage or the future, but he knew one thing. He would do everything he could to help this planet find peace. The morning light on Zalara was soft and golden, shining through the tall purple trees like a gentle promise. Eli woke feeling both nervous and curious. Today, Yuli had told him, would be the first day of the courtship rituals. Strange customs that on Earth would seem like a mix of games, tests, and celebrations. But here, they were serious. Yuli waited eagerly outside Eli's door, her bright eyes sparkling. "Come on, Mother says you must show your heart. It will be fun," she said, pulling his hand as they stepped outside. Eli smiled despite himself. The girl's energy was infectious. He followed her through the village streets, where the Zalari were preparing for the day's events. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, and small fires burned, gently in stone bowls. Their first stop was at the edge of a shallow river, where a wriggling creature lay caught in a net. It was about the size of a dog but covered in rough green scales and had many small legs. "This is the mudworm, Yulior," explained proudly. "Catching one is the first test. You must wrestle it free without hurting it. It shows strength and kindness." Eli looked at the creature nervously. The mudworm squirmed, but its eyes looked calm. Eli knelt carefully and reached out. The creature twisted and turned, but Eli remembered something his father had taught him about animals. Stay calm and gentle, and they will trust you. With slow movements, Eli worked to loosen the net. The mudworm finally slid free and disappeared into the water with a splash. Yuli cheered. "You did it. You are already learning." Next, they moved to a small clearing where Zalari musicians waited with strange instruments. Yuli handed Eli a thin, horn-like pipe. "Now you must make a courtship song, Chip. It is a way to speak without words." Eli tried to blow into the pipe, but all he made was a soft squeak. The musicians laughed kindly, and Yuli giggled. "Try again," she encouraged. "It is not about skill, but heart." Eli closed his eyes and played the softest, simplest notes he could. The sound was raw and awkward, but honest. Yuli smiled widely. "That is perfect." Before Eli could relax, Yuli grabbed his arm and pulled him toward the village center, where a long table was, covered with bowls of spicy food. "This is the trial of honor feasts," Yuli explained. "You must eat all the dishes. Each one shows respect to a different part of our culture." Eli took a deep breath. The first bowl was filled with bright red berries that burned his tongue like fire. He coughed but kept eating. The next was a thick paste with a strange, bitter taste. Eli's face twisted, but he swallowed. Yuli watched with amusement. Almost there. Finally, a sweet, creamy dish melted on his tongue. Eli smiled, feeling proud that he had made it through. Siraxa appeared, her forearms folded calmly. "You show great courage, Eli. It is not easy to face unknown challenges." Eli nodded, wiping his mouth. "I want to understand your people. I want to be part of your world, even if I do not fully belong." Siraxa's silver eyes softened. "Belonging is about heart, not just place." Yuli clapped happily and pulled Eli toward a small platform where others were practicing the dance of light. It was a slow, flowing dance meant to honor the spirits of the forest and the ancestors. Eli watched as the Zalari moved gracefully, their bodies telling stories without words. Yuli took his hand and began to lead him through the simple steps. At first, Eli stumbled and tripped over his own feet. Yuli laughed gently, steadying him. "It's okay, just follow my lead." Together they danced beneath the glowing leaves, the light shifting with every step. For a moment, Eli forgot the worries of diplomacy or the strange customs. He felt connected to this place, to these people. As the sun began to set, Siraxa invited Eli to a quiet room filled with soft cushions and glowing crystals. "Today you have faced our customs with honesty and respect," she said. "But there is one more test, one that asks for trust." Eli looked at her carefully. "What is it?" Siraxa smiled gently. "Tomorrow you will join the council's ceremony. It is a chance to speak your truth before many eyes. It will show if your heart is true." Eli nodded, feeling a mix of fear and determination. He was far from Earth, surrounded by strangers and strange traditions. But he wanted to prove himself, not as a husband, not yet, but as a friend, an ally. Yuli squeezed his hand. "You are not alone." That night Eli sat by a window and looked at the twin moons shining over Zalara. He thought of his family back on Earth, his friends, and the uncertain future ahead. But for the first time he felt a quiet hope. Maybe this strange, unexpected journey could become something more than a mistake. Maybe it could become a new beginning for him, for Zalara, and for two worlds learning to trust each other. The morning sun rose over Zalara, casting long shadows through the crystal towers and purple trees. Today was the day Eli would attend the Council of Zalara for the first time. The ceremony was important. It was where leaders from many clans came together to decide the future of their planet. Eli's heart beat fast with both excitement and worry. Yuli met him at the door, her smile wide and confident. "You are ready. Today everyone will see who you are." Eli nodded and followed her through the winding streets toward the great council hall. The building was massive, made of glowing stone and decorated with symbols of peace and strength. Inside, the air was thick with voices and tension. The council members were already gathered, warriors with forearms, wise elders with shining eyes, and diplomats from other star systems. Eli felt their eyes on him, some curious, some cold. He knew that not all of them trusted a human. As the meeting began, Eli listened carefully. The topic was the future of Zalara's relationship with Earth. Some council members believed humans were dangerous outsiders who could not be trusted. Others thought that working together might bring peace and new opportunities. Suddenly, a loud voice interrupted. "This human is a spy. He sabotaged our power grid last night." The speaker was Lord Dravok, a fierce noble with scarred skin and a cruel smile. His words shocked the room. Eli froze. Sabotage? He had no idea what was going on, but the accusation was serious. The council murmured, some nodding at Dravok's claim. Siraxa stood, her eyes blazing with calm authority. "These are false accusations. Eli has been with us all day. You seek to divide us for your own gain." Dravok sneered. "I offer proof." He called forward a hologram, showing sparks and flames at one of Zalara's power stations. Eli's mind raced. He needed to prove his innocence. But how? Yuli whispered, "We must use the trial by truth. It is the only way to clear your name." Eli looked to Siraxa. "What is this trial?" Siraxa explained. "It is an ancient legal process. The accused and accuser present their evidence before an impartial judge. The judge's AI scans for lies and deception." The council agreed. Eli was to face Dravok in the trial by truth. The courtroom was a large chamber filled with glowing crystals and floating screens. The judge, an AI named Orion, projected a calm blue light. "Present your case," Orion commanded. Dravok stepped forward, repeating his accusation and showing the holograms again. Eli spoke calmly. "I have no desire to harm Zalara or its people. I was with Siraxa and Yuli all day, learning your customs and culture." Orion scanned Eli's words and body language. Then it asked questions, checking details and facts. Meanwhile, Yuli and Saraxa gathered witnesses, villagers, warriors, and even engineers who confirmed Eli's whereabouts. The trial lasted 4 hours. Many council members watched silently, waiting for the truth. Finally, Orion's light changed to green. The evidence shows no proof against Eli Vance. The accusations are false. Gasps and whispers filled the chamber. Dravok's face twisted in anger, but he could not deny the judgment. Saraxa stepped forward. We must not let lies destroy us. Trust is fragile but must be earned. Eli bowed his head slightly. Thank you. I only want to build peace between our worlds. Yuli beamed. You passed the trial. You have many friends now. Outside the council hall, Eli felt a new respect growing among the people. Many approached him, curious to learn more about Earth. That evening, Saraxa and Eli walked through the village. She spoke quietly. The council is divided. Some fear change, others see hope. You are a symbol now. Eli looked up at the twin moons. It is a heavy burden. Saraxa smiled softly. You carry it well, but remember you are not alone. Suddenly a shadow moved quickly behind them. Eli turned to see a group of cloaked figures disappear into the trees. Enemies still lurk, Saraxa said, eyes sharp. Eli's resolve hardened. Then we must be ready. For peace and for the future. The days following the trial by truth were filled with whispers and quiet meetings. Eli felt the weight of his new role growing heavier. The Council of Zalara was still divided. Some trusted him and the humans, while others feared what his presence meant. One evening, Eli sat with Saraxa and Yuli in a quiet garden filled with glowing flowers. The air was cool and fragrant, and soft lights floated above the plants like tiny stars. Saraxa looked thoughtful. The council meets again soon. The decision will be made. To accept Earth as an ally, or to turn away. Eli nodded. I want to help, but I know trust takes time. Yuli leaned forward eagerly. Mother, why don't you ask Eli to join your family, a peace bond? It will show everyone that we choose peace. Saraxa smiled gently. That is why I have been thinking. A peace bond is a sacred ceremony. It is not the same as marriage, but it is a promise between two families or two worlds. Eli looked at her carefully. You want to make a public promise? Yes. To end the fighting and fear, to bring our people together. Saraxa's eyes shone with hope. But it is a choice I must make. And Eli, it must be your choice too. Eli thought for a moment. The idea of a peace bond was strange to him. On Earth, such things were symbolic but not common between nations. But here, it could change everything. I agree, Eli said finally. If it helps bring peace and friendship. Yuli jumped up, clapping her hands. Yes, you will see the ceremony. It is beautiful. The news spread quickly. When the day of the ceremony arrived, the entire village gathered on the great platform high in the trees. Bright banners flew in the wind, and the air buzzed with excitement. The council members took their seats, and the crowd hushed as Saraxa and Eli stepped forward. Saraxa wore ceremonial robes of silver and blue, while Eli was dressed in simple but elegant clothes, given to him by Yuli's family. The ceremony began with music. Soft, flowing songs played on strange instruments. Yuli stood beside Eli, holding his hand tightly. Saraxa spoke clearly, her voice carrying across the crowd. Today we choose peace. We choose to stand together, Earth and Zalara, not as strangers, but as allies. Eli stepped forward, looking at the faces around him. I promise to respect your people and your ways. I will work to build friendship between our worlds. The elders brought forth a glowing crystal, the symbol of their bond. Saraxa and Eli each touched it with one hand. The crystal shone brightly, sending beams of light across the platform. The crowd erupted in cheers. But not everyone was happy. In the shadows beyond the platform, Lord Vernix watched with a dark scowl. A fierce warrior and leader of the warlike faction, Vernix hated the idea of humans coming to Zalara. To him, the ceremony was a betrayal. This cannot stand, Vernex growled to his followers. We will stop this alliance. We will show them that Zalara remains strong and free. The ceremony ended, but Eli felt the tension like a storm waiting to break. Siraxa placed a hand on his shoulder. You have done well, but the fight is not over. Eli looked at her. What do we do? We prepare, and we hope the people's hearts are stronger than fear. As the crowd began to disperse, Yuli hugged Eli tightly. You are brave, you are family. Eli smiled, feeling a warmth he had not known since leaving Earth. This bond was more than ceremony. It was the first step toward a future where two very different worlds might stand together. The peace bond between Eli and Siraxa had filled the village with joy and hope. For the first time in many seasons, the people of Zalara laughed freely, shared meals, and talked about the future with open hearts. Even some members of the council who once doubted Eli began to accept him. But far above the trees and crystal towers, danger was coming. A dark ship hovered beyond the moons, hidden from view. Inside, Lord Vernex stood with his arms crossed, staring at the planet below. So they believe this human will save them? He said coldly. Then let them watch as he fails. His plan was simple but deadly. That night, while the village slept, Vernex's followers would destroy the main energy crystal that powered the village's shields. Without it, the village would be defenseless, and chaos would follow. He hoped the people would lose trust in Siraxa and reject the peace with Earth. Back in the village, Eli sat near the edge of a glowing lake with Yuli. The water reflected the twin moons, and the forest was calm. Do you miss your world? Yuli asked softly. Eli nodded. Sometimes. I miss my family, my sky, and even my dog. But I found something special here too. Yuli smiled. You are part of our world now. Just then, a soft humming sound came from above. Eli looked up and saw a strange flicker of lights in the sky. Did you see that? He asked. Yuli frowned. It looked like a ship? Eli stood quickly. We need to tell your mother. They ran through the village to Siraxa's home. She was already awake, speaking to a guard in low tones. There has been movement in the sky, the guard reported. Something is hiding above the second moon. Siraxa's face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. Prepare the watchtowers. Wake the council. Eli stepped forward. I think Vernex is planning something. We need to protect the energy crystal. Siraxa nodded. You think like a warrior now. Guards moved through the village, alerting the people. Lights began to glow in every home, and the peaceful night turned into quiet preparation. Yuli joined the guards without hesitation, grabbing her training blade. Eli followed her, feeling his heart race. He wasn't a soldier, but he couldn't stand by and do nothing. Suddenly, the alarm crystal rang. A group of shadowy figures had been spotted near the base of the crystal tower. Move, Siraxa ordered. Eli, Yuli, and several guards rushed toward the tower. The crystal pulsed gently, its light like a beating heart. But near its base, masked intruders were placing small devices, explosives. There, Yuli pointed. The guards charged, and a short battle began. Blades clashed, energy bolts lit up the dark, and the sound of feet thudded on the soft ground. Eli dodged an attacker and managed to push one of the devices away from the crystal. Yuli fought beside him, moving fast and focused. One of the intruders aimed a weapon at her. Yuli, Eli shouted and jumped forward. He tackled the attacker, and the two fell to the ground. The weapon fired into the air. The other guards quickly overpowered the remaining enemies. The last intruder tried to run, but Siraxa stood in his path. Her staff glowed, and with a single sweep, she knocked the attacker to the ground. Silence returned. The people gathered, breathless but safe. The crystal was undamaged. The attack had failed. Siraxa removed the mask from the attacker in front of her. A loyalist of Vernex, she said. The council arrived soon after. One elder looked around the scene and said, "This was meant to bring fear and break our bond with Earth." "But it did the opposite," another replied. "Eli stood with us. He risked his life for our people. Siraxa turned to Eli. You have shown more than words. You have shown heart. Yuli smiled, her eyes shining with pride. Eli looked around, at the people, his people now. We stood together. That's what matters. As dawn rose, the sky turned gold and pink. The village returned to life, stronger and more united than before. But far above, on the hidden ship, Vernex watched with cold eyes. They won today, he said. But the game is not over. Morning sunlight shone across the treetops of Zalara. Birds with crystal feathers flew through the sky, and the glowing trees swayed in the wind. But the peaceful look of the land was not matched by peace in the hearts of its people. After the failed attack on the energy crystal, the council had gathered once again, this time not to argue, but to prepare. Everyone knew that Lord Vernex would not give up easily. A greater attack was coming, and this time he would bring his fleet. In the central hall, Siraxa stood before the council. Eli, Yuli, and several village leaders sat beside her. We must send a message to Earth, Siraxa said. We need help before Vernex brings war to our doorstep. But what if Earth refuses to come? One elder asked. What if they think it is not their fight? Eli stood slowly. His voice was calm, but firm. I will go to Earth. I'll speak to them myself. I can explain what's happening. I can ask for their support. Yuli's eyes widened. But it's dangerous. What if they don't let you return? I have to try, Eli said. We need more than warriors. We need unity. The council agreed. The next day, a small scout ship was prepared. Eli hugged Yuli and Siraxa at the launch pad. You are one of us now, Siraxa said softly. Remember that. I'll come back, Eli promised. The ship rose into the sky and vanished into the stars. Back on Earth, Eli landed at the Space Alliance headquarters. He was tired and worried, but he wasted no time. He asked for a meeting with the Earth Council. At first, they were hesitant. A war on a distant planet? One general said. It's not our concern. But it is, Eli replied. Zalara stood with us when we crashed. They helped me when I had nothing. Now they ask for support, not to conquer, but to protect their home. There was silence. Then an ambassador spoke. You speak like one of them. Because you lived among them. You understand what this alliance means. Eli nodded. Yes. If we help Zalara now, we show we're not just visitors in the stars. We are friends. The council whispered among themselves. After a long pause, the lead ambassador turned to Eli. We will send aid. A small fleet will follow you back to Zalara. Eli smiled with relief. 3 days later, Eli returned to Zalara, this time with Earth ships behind him. The sky above the village shimmered as silver spacecraft hovered near the clouds. The people of Zalara looked up, amazed. They came, Yuli whispered, her voice filled with joy. But the joy didn't last long. Scouts reported that Vernex's fleet had entered orbit. Dozens of dark ships were preparing to strike. Inside the council hall, Zelaran warriors and Earth officers stood side by side, planning the defense. Eli stood in the center, helping both sides understand each other. When the attack finally came, it began with flashing lights in the sky. Vernex's ships fired energy beams at the shield. The air shook with the sound of battle. But this time Zalara was ready. Earth ships flew alongside the Zelaran crystal gliders. Together they pushed back the attackers. Siraxa led the ground defense, her staff glowing with energy. Yuli stood at the watchtower, guiding the villagers to safety. Stay calm, we protect each other, she shouted. Eli was aboard a command ship, helping coordinate movements between the two forces. As the battle raged, Vernex's main ship moved closer to the surface. He had one goal, to destroy the peace crystal in the village. Without it, the people's hope would fall. Siraxa moved to block him, but she was outnumbered. At the last moment, Eli's ship landed nearby. He ran into the forest, reaching the crystal just in time. Vernex! Eli shouted, standing between him and the sacred stone. This ends now. Vernex laughed. You, a human? You don't belong here. I belong where I'm needed, Eli said. Vernex charged forward, but Saraxa arrived, blocking him with her staff. Together, Eli and Saraxa fought the enemy leader. It was not easy, but they stood side by side, stronger together. At last Vernex fell defeated. His fleet, seeing their leader captured, fled into space. The battle was over. Days later, Zalara and Earth held a grand gathering. Flags from both worlds flew together. The peace crystal now shined brighter than ever. Eli stood beside Yuli and Saraxa, watching the celebration. You didn't just come from another world, Yuli said. You changed both of them, Saraxa added. Because of you, the bond between Zalara and Earth will last for generations. Eli smiled. I didn't do it alone. We did it, together. Above them, the sky was clear. Two worlds, once strangers, were now family. And somewhere in the crowd, a small voice whispered, Human, you didn't just save us. You became one of us.